So, Ron, you have a story of the day that you have met Prince Philip. Can you tell us about it, please?
Yeah, sure. I had provided the Falconry Centre in Gloucester, England, with a number of African birds of prey, and they had constructed huge big breeding chambers for them to breed them in captivity. And Prince Philip is a great sportsman. He's a hunter, a shotgun hunter, and he enjoyed falconry. But falconry is a very, very time absorbing entertainment. It's a hell of a lot of work goes into falconry. And Prince Philip didn't have the time to be able to carry his hawk around day in and day out and get it used to sitting on his fist and get tame, in other words. So he still had the interest, but he wasn't able to practice falconry. And he had worked out a friendship with Philip Glazier, who owned a facility called the Falconry Centre just outside Gloucester in England. And his history with Prince Philip goes back a long way. When their first two children were still small, I've got photographs, or I had photographs of them with the Glazier family, with Prince Philip and the Queen before she was the Queen, and they were going collecting baby peregrine falcons on the white cliffs of Dover. And what would happen then was that Philip Glazier would train the hawks. He had the time to be able to do this, and this was his job. And then once a year, Philip would invite him up to Balmoral Castle in Scotland. The whole family from Gloucester went up there, and they had a holiday, a week's holiday up there, while the two Philips, Philip Glazier and Philip Royal, they went out flying their falcons, catching grouse and things with their falcons. So he had a great interest in birds of prey. When I provided the Gloucester facility with big birds of prey, Philip Glazier set up enormous big breeding chambers for them. And he told Philip, the Royal, that he had these, and invited him to come and open up what was called the large eagle wing at the Falconry Centre. And he came out to see the eagles and to open the centre officially. And I was going across to Cornell University in Upper New York State to go and see Professor Tom Cade, who ran an organization there called the Peregrine Fund. And he raised funds in order to put up breeding chambers for peregrine falcons. And you probably remember that some time ago there was a big scare that DDT was killing all the birds of prey, particularly peregrine falcons. And so they took falcons, or they recovered falcons from the falconers. These are birds of prey that had been hunted and trained, and divided them up into pairs and bred them in captivity. And I wanted to go and see how they did this. I had a special invitation from Professor Tom Cade to go over. And I was on my way via London to go to New York on my way up there. And Philip Glazier had said to me, whenever you're passing by, you must come down and see where we're looking after your eagles, your big eagles. So I phoned him up and I said, okay, I'm passing through England. I'm going to pop in and see you if that's all right. So he said, yeah, that's fine, except it's a bit of a problem. That's the weekend, that's the royal weekend when Prince Philip is coming to open the big eagle wing. He said, but if you don't mind coming here and helping us clean up for His Highness's visit, that's cutting the lawns and that sort of thing, being a good garden boy. And I said, not at all. So I arrived in London, I caught the train, and I went all the way down to Gloucester, where I was picked up and taken out. And I helped cut the lawns and take the cuttings away and all the other stuff that a good gardener would do in Africa, and carried it all out of sight while His Highness was there.
Yeah.
And when the time arrived, this huge, big, red helicopter, a Wesley Bowen helicopter, landed with Prince Philip at the controls, landed in the field next door to the Falconry Centre, and they walked over. Prince Philip was accompanied by MI6 people who were his guardians and looking after him while he was on his tour. And they did their thing, going around looking at all the eagles and the big chambers where they were breeding. Then he came up, and there were a whole lot of us who had been helping Philip Glazier clean up everything for the royal visit. And all of us were required to line up along this pathway to be introduced to Prince Philip, and I was one of them. And he spoke. My grandfather would have said. My grandfather, who was very Scottish, used to say that all Englishmen spoke with a bull in their mouth, with a marble in their mouth, like "hello, how are you" sort of thing. And anyway, Philip Glazier spoke with a bull in his mouth. That's how they definitely used to speak. And he started at one end, and we said, "This is so and so. He's a photographer, and he's come to film you with the eagles," and so on and so on. And then it got to me towards the end of the line, and he says, Philip Glazier says to the Prince Royal, he says, "And here we have an extraordinary fellow. His name is Ron Thompson, and he is a game warden from Rhodesia." Now, I don't think he quite understood the politics at the time, because it was 1979, and Rhodesia was still a rebel colony, which Britain didn't acknowledge. But I'm pretty sure that Prince Philip knew what was going on. Yeah. Philip Glazier hadn't a clue what a faux pas he'd made. But Philip looked at me, and I could see his eyes saying, "I wonder what this guy's doing in England from rebel Rhodesia, you see." And he says, "And what are you doing here?" And I said to myself, this opportunity comes once in a lifetime, and I cannot let it forego. I cannot forego it. So when he said, "What are you doing here?" I looked him in the eye and I said, "I have come to undermine thy kingdom." And he roared with laughter, and then he said to his bodyguard, "Listen to this guy."
That didn't arrest you.
No, it didn't arrest me, no. But that's where we've got the photograph of me shaking Prince Royal's hand. But he doesn't shake hand like a normal man would shake a hand. I think it's been shaken so much that it's lost all its fibre in it, because he virtually puts his hand out and you grab his fingers and wiggle his hand around, and that's shaking Prince Philip's hand.
That's the way, the royal way.
Yeah, but he enjoyed that little joke anyway.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.